Welcome to Real Flix Reviews, like a book club for people who hate reading. This week's our theater picks. We picked X-Men Apocalypse, made in 2016, the pilot of Preacher, and we bring you movie news. This week we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, and Bryan Preston. So here's the description of X-Men Apocalypse 2016. With the emergency of the world's first mutant, Apocalypse, the X-Men must unite to defeat his extinction-level plans, which they weren't technically the X-Men then? They were just a group of random mutants together, but...
They became the X-Men in name, if not, spirit early in the movie.
I'm starting to think that we should stop reading IMDb things and just saying, like X-Men Apocalypse. Apocalypse shows up and shenanigans.
But
I mean, that's every movie summed up,
right?
Thing happens with shenanigans.
So pretty much that's every Michael Bay movie ever made. Michael Bay shenanigans.
Yeah, Transformers show up shenanigans, asteroid shenanigans.
That's an island shenanigans. So that's pretty much everything.
Super Troopers.
And, oh jeez. Yeah. I want to start out with a complaint. There's only one part of this movie.
You only have one complaint?
One major complaint. There's one scene in this movie that really took me out of it. It was a scene when they're in Stryker's compound and you had Wolverine have that helmet on, and they, for a split second, they switched to like a POV cam.
Oh.
That really took me out because the footage, it reminded me of the waterfall scene from the Lord of the Rings movie. Oh, excuse me, the Hobbit movie.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Because it was the instant split and then boom to another shot, but that right there took me out of the movie.
Were you sure there wasn't a porno clip slipped in there?
I don't know. Just the tip.
Jeez.
That was the one scene that really took me out of the movie. I liked.
I've got more than one complaint. First of all, I'm not a big fan of the stupid Kurt Wagner. He seemed a little stupid.
Yeah, I liked the previous guy.
Yeah.
This guy, I'll agree, I didn't like all that much. By the way, he looked skinny.
The previous guy nailed it in number 2.
By the way, somebody feed this Nightcrawler.
Yeah. And the biggest one for me is this one. Now, I'm really sick and tired of the X-Men films using the Phoenix out of context. Now, the biggest thing for me is Jean Grey. Just her powers, not accounting the Phoenix inside of her, is a level 5 mutant. She's level 5. They said that in the second or first X-Men that they started. Hold on. And what that actually means on the power scale is that she's an an alpha level mutant by this score. When she has the Phoenix inside of her, she's an omega. Xavier and Magneto are only level 4s.
The only thing I could think of is, for one, this is a different universe because the way they did it, it's
the same.
No, it's a different one.
It's the same.
Yeah, well, okay, it appears to be the same, and I didn't really bother to look up exactly what the timeline is or go back and rewatch any of the movies because.
Fuck all.
See, no, you see the reason why I say it's a different one is. Last was it Days of Future Past? Jean Grey and Cyclops were back, so technically it's a different timeline.
But even still, her powers aren't going to change that drastically. She's beyond the powers of Xavier, and he even pointed that out in this timeline. If you want to use that, but still, the thing it seems to be that. All of a sudden, they're just throwing in the Phoenix, and it's completely out of context, and they're not even going to be using the material of it. Well, see, this Phoenix is a completely separate entity than Jean Grey.
Well, at least
Phoenix was something that happened to Jean Grey at a certain point in her life. Yes. It wasn't like this thing that she could really call upon.
Exactly.
No,
that's what I'm saying. It's a separate entity from her. I don't know why they keep on throwing her in as all of a sudden she has the Phoenix power.
But on the positive,
they actually got it a lot closer when they did it in the original 3, in as much as she sort of became Phoenix and ceased to be Jean Grey. As far as the actual story goes, though, I mean, it's sort of semantics.
See,
it just pissing me off that they just keep on throwing it in.
I know what you mean, dude, but we're never going to see the Phoenix saga the way that it was in the comics.
This one didn't bug me as much because at least because allegedly, and I don't know if it's true, they're going to do the Dark Phoenix saga, and allegedly
I was wrong. Shit.
Are they going to do the Bald Phoenix as well?
I don't know.
Do you even know what I'm talking about?
No. See, the best thing about this is there'd be a way in the next one to describe that she is in slight control or agreed with her motives, or you could easily say along that lines to be at least a little bit forgivable. The last one, in my opinion, wasn't. The last usage, in my opinion, was absolutely horrible.
Are you talking about the third of the original X-Men trilogy?
That
I
to
agree.
me was unforgivable.
That one was completely horrible.
This one here, at least
it was bad.
This one here, at least it's on the forgivable level of.
You just have a crush on Sansa.
Who?
Sansa.
Is that the chick who played her?
Yeah, Sansa Stark.
Oh. Should ask her how Tony's doing.
What the shit that meme?
I still like the switch here. I still like James McAvoy, McAvery, and Michael Fassbender.
I actually liked everybody in here. I'm a big fan of Evan Peters as Quicksilver.
Jennifer Lawrence.
I was very happy they kind of did the same thing.
Jennifer
Lawrence's Mystique. I like it.
I like it, but it's kind of maybe she's done too much, and I've just seen too much of her lately. She's starting to get to me a little bit, but
what sites are you getting on, John?
Well, because she's been in all the was it the Catching Fire? She's been on a lot. But yeah, I love the cast of this movie. The only thing I'm getting a little bit of superhero syndrome. I'm getting a little burned out.
I think everybody's getting a little burned out. It's like at least 8 movies a year have some superhero theme.
And it's going to get worse with next year. Allegedly the DC's Justice League is coming out.
Okay.
I mean, seriously, I wonder what this is going to feel like in 20 years, looking back and then being like, all of a sudden, all we did was make comic book movies.
Yeah.
Like, you look at the history of film and the plethora of shit you had, really everything after slapstick, it started to just really spread out. I mean, the types of stories and things that you'd see, and then it's all comic book movies. It's just the strangest thing. We're gonna look back and look at it on a chart, and it's just gonna look like Marvel and DC just took over the world.
You know what I'm waiting for next? After this, I bet it's gonna be video game movies, and I can't wait to watch
Powerpuff Girls.
I can't wait to watch Tetris the movie.
Well, shit, they already tried to do like versions of that kind of thing with what was it? What was that Adam Sandler flick with Pixels?
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? They're already doing that in a real, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Let's collect all of them together into one movie. Because I think even the video game people know that they're not going to be able to make any kind of money licensing a single franchise.
Wait, hold on.
Pac-Man
don't besmirch Who Framed Roger Rabbit with an Sadler movie. That's actually sacrilege.
You had so many different licensed characters all coming into one thing.
Oh no, totally. So
I wanted to throw in something because we did kind of a big comparison, look at Evan Peters as Quicksilver last time in the way that they did the kind of slow motion feel of this.
Yeah.
I think they actually stepped the game up on this one.
No, they
What
did.
do you guys think? I mean, I really was impressed on this one.
No, I agree. I really liked
the last one was good, but this one,
I thought it was even better. I thought it was a little cleaner. I've always been a big fan of Quicksilver. Quick side note, apparently people don't know who Quicksilver is because I got a text message from a friend saying, why is the Flash in this movie?
Oh, sheesh.
And the only reason I want to say this is Marvel and DC borrowed a lot from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Check out the Submariner, for example. So
there's only so many
ideas.
Ideas that you can have. So you're going to have crossover.
So this...
I mean, how many superheroes fly?
A lot.
Let's just put that out there.
There's always going to be the different versions with just really subtle variances. And then obviously... The reason that they're able to do that is you can have 800 superheroes fly. A bunch of them have super speed. I mean, if you ever just look at a list of powers of all these superheroes, it's usually the usual suspects shit.
Yeah,
but
so many have telekinesis.
Yeah, exactly. The reason that they stick around is the characters are actually good. The backstories, the depth of them that they've gone into over the years.
Well, I look at it this way. I like the Flash, but I'm also a fan of Quicksilver because they're different.
I think Quicksilver,
they're not the same person.
I like Quicksilver better because at least he has a little bit of a better backstory. At least better stories involving his dad and his sister.
And that was the other thing I was going to say. Where the hell was the Scarlet Witch, man? I've been waiting for her forever.
Was the girl who was killed, was that supposed to be the Scarlet Witch?
No, I don't think so.
Because, I did want to say, that was one of my favorite...
through the cast and I didn't see it. There was Jubilee.
I did want to say that was my favorite moment of the film. You had the point where Magneto was trying to just live a life, wanted to give everything up, and then, shenanigans happened. I loved the whole scene. I loved seeing that character be happy, then everything taken away from him.
Yeah.
That, as cruel as that is, that was an amazing scene. You actually added depth to a character that's kind of one-dimensional.
It feeds his sort of future
angst,
motivations.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, in as much as like he feels quite the opposite of Xavier, in as much as no matter what we do, they're always going to come after us eventually. And that's his whole motivation for all of his evil shit. In like the first 3 movies.
So I heard an interesting comparison about this, and this is a little bit not movie news, but I thought it was interesting. A lot of these stories came out in 1960s during civil rights, and I heard Magneto was supposed to be Malcolm X loosely, and then Charles Xavier was loosely based off of Martin Luther King. And so
it's pretty much the same goals. I mean, they've always had the same end goal in mind, just completely different ways of going about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for once I heard that added a different flavor and more of a layer. So I think that's one of the things they're tapping into is in these movies is having, they're showing what the X-Men really is about, which is basically the civil rights of the mutants.
Well,
which is something they haven't really played off really well.
Comic books, no matter how you sort of look at them, and the reason that so many adults aren't even aware of these kinds of things is because it's really subtle, but it's one of the last places you can sort of speak truth to power and have these allegories towards, just civil rights issues in general. Or the comic book artists and writers have always had their finger on the pulse. They've almost been ahead of their time on a lot of things.
Yeah. And I think
it's kind of an Orwellian sort of futuristic prediction sort of way.
I will say one of the reasons I appreciate this version of the X-Men is they try to touch on it a little bit on the first original 3. They actually try to touch on it a lot, but it was piss poor. It was very fast. These the last 3, including this one, I think have touched on that subject in a way that actually adds a lot of richness to the story. I think really lays the foundation for better stories.
And I think with these 2 movies, they've actually managed to kind of take their time drawing it out a little bit longer. Whereas the first 3, or especially the first 2, I felt like I was watching so many years worth of canon being shoved into 2.5, 3 hours.
And I would say it got even worse with a third one, because you went from like Good Phoenix, Dark Phoenix, Death. I mean, you went through
just automatically right off the bat. They didn't have any adventures and whatnot.
And so I was kind of thinking it was probably, like the first 3 were maybe like they're feeling the waters out poorly. I really love, if there's an X-Men trilogy that I wish that, that would stay in the beginning of time and everybody in the end of time saying this was the best one, it's the last 3. I hope they make more. I'd love to see a little bit of more original based stories. Wait, hold on. I want to see a little bit of original, but I want to see it done in the spirit of the comic books in a way that stays with it. If you can do it right.
It's almost not possible when you get other people's hands on it, and we've seen this. I don't even need to bring up how many times.
Shamalali ding dong.
You can't have.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that. That wasn't even going to be near my list of examples. But you can't have people who don't understand. Especially who spent their whole lives like filmmaking, you need to have these comic book people involved.
Well, see, that's because this is Marvel. That was the only way I could think you could have it, because Disney's involved and Marvel's involved. Maybe for once, you could have the comic book writers and the people who love it make an original story instead of what always happens. You've got Hollywood writers involved in it, and it always sucks. I was thinking,
but I mean, there's pretty much all the good stories have been done.
Okay, then how about,
you know what I mean? Like
then how about a more obscure story? Something, because if you actually stay attention to X-Men, this is X-Men 101. I mean, all of this is beginning very, very intro level. I want to see something a little bit more obscure personally. I want to go, hey, I don't know that. Let me look it up. Let me read the comics, because all this stuff I know.
Yeah.
Well, trust me, you can get pretty obscure. I mean, they've done one-offs and limited run kind of things for a long ass time. I mean, nobody's read them all unless you're a complete junkie.
Well, one of the things I was gonna go back to with John, because I mean, you're throwing in like some of that it was like the civil rights movement for the X-Men.
A lot. Well,
there was I don't know if you guys remember, Sabretooth was related to one of the guys that was the major racist guy.
Yeah, yes.
The comic series, or the cartoon series.
Remember that? That was one of my favorite episodes.
Remember that, Ryan?
No.
Well, Victor
was related to who?
Graydon Creed.
Yes.
Victor Creed was related to Graydon Creed. I don't remember if he was supposed to be the dad or the son.
The politician was the son of Sabretooth.
Yes, and he was a politician, and he was pushing the anti-mutant agenda. And this was part of the storyline in the X-Men cartoon series. And that's where I think you're going with the civil rights thing, and that's really what they showed a lot of oppression and racism against them at that time, and that's really what Magneto's real agenda was in the cartoon, was that the humans are not going to accept us, so we need to put them under our foot.
See, well, and this is what I want to see more of.
From Auschwitz in general, not in general, specifically from Auschwitz, in the Holocaust, having his parents taken from him. He's on sort of a first strike basis.
Yes.
You know, like he sees Hitler coming around the corner and he's like, we need to like kill everybody.
Well, that was actually part of the, there was still part of the thing in the cartoon series, was that he dated back to that time.
See, this is something I want to see. Instead of doing the Dark Phoenix saga and all that, I want to see the next one, hardcore, and the X-Men civil rights movie.
Well, but they touched on it here, though.
Well, this is why I think it would be perfect. Oh, they did.
Okay.
This is why I think it'd be perfect, because they touched on it enough that you could totally foreshadow the next movie and have it be a perfect.
That was the first like 3 movies, essentially. Well, first 2 at least.
Well, they touched on it a little bit more in detail this time
between people and the mutants.
I want it full blown though. Like I want it like the cartoon.
There, you couldn't get any more full blown without completely retelling the story.
Well, I don't know. Like if you pay attention to the cartoon, for example, I want it to have the feel of that.
I mean, shit, you want every episode to be about it, you know, or every movie. I mean, it's.
But honestly, that's what
cross that bridge.
But that's what every X-Men story was about. It was about civil rights. It was about Jean Grey and Cyclops and.
Like, the reason I really like this movie is because they went right for Apocalypse and didn't play it down one bit. They freaking nailed Apocalypse.
No, I agree. I totally. So, what do you give this movie, Ryan?
Oh man, I mean, aside from, you know, just slight quibbles and things like that. Shit, I mean, the cast was so damn good.
It was. I like the cast.
I mean, it's one of the better comic book movies that's come out in a while.
I definitely agree. And I would give the last 3, I mean, to including this in the trilogy, this is a 5 out of 5 for the trilogy.
Yeah, I would say that 5 out of 5 for the trilogy. My only holding back on that is because I'm not sure if they're going to tie in Weapon X with this universe. It seems like they are. I don't know if you guys waited around for the last, 1 minute.
I don't know. I didn't, but I don't know if I want another.
It was just them cleaning up and then taking Weapon X's blood and putting it in the case. That was all.
I don't know if I want another. Besides Old Man Logan, I'm done with Wolverine movies because the last 2 have sucked. Let me repeat this. They sucked.
Yeah, I think the world agrees.
Even M. Night Shyamalan was like, wow, that was bad.
No.
So what do you give it?
I agree with you guys. I think this one deserves a 4. I think if we put it together as a trilogy, this is a 5 out of 5 on the trilogy. Seal it up, be done with X-Men. I want to see more of it, of course, but I mean, there's a point where you're just kind of getting bad. I mean, they even said it in the movie. The third one always sucks. So they were referring to Return of the Jedi coming out, but whatever.
So I give this a 4 to 5.
Which Return of the Jedi is still one of my favorite of the first 3.
I would love to see more, but it has to be as good as the last 3 that came out. I
mean, they set the bar high.
If it's not, then stop. Matter of fact, you can stop all comic book movies after Doctor Strange, and so we're switching to
I want to point out one more thing. I gotta give Hugh Jackman one more try at the Wolverine and just get somebody to direct and do a better job.
Well, see, this is the benefit.
It's not Hugh Jackman's fault,
and we got to switch off to the different segment. But Old Man Logan, if they're going to do it, there's enough story there that you could do it right if you had a good director. However, I warn you, if it's a shitty director, the movie's not even remotely worth going to see.
Yeah.
So we're going to switch off to the pilot of Preacher, and that's James.
So this one, basically the premise of it is a preacher heads out on a journey to combat the supernatural evil that just decimated his Texas town. That's a load of shit. That's not what happened.
But by the way, this reminds me of Almost Human, but a little bit more humorous.
Yeah, I actually liked Almost Human. Honestly, I was kind of sad that it didn't continue.
I love the scene where the guy got his arm broke by the preacher.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff here. They have a lot of ways to go with this one.
Yeah, I could see that.
But I mean, I'm willing to continue on. Ryan, did you get a chance to watch it?
I did, and yeah, I'm definitely in. And sort of brings me back to just characters, man. I mean, the way they introduced all the characters while still telling the story, it's good storytelling.
Yeah, I want to throw this out though,
and it's interesting as shit. I mean,
in the pilot episode,
open your heart,
I
Ryan.
think what they did that it kind of had a feel of, and somebody could really grasp on this. What is at times it felt a little disconjointed, but they tied it together.
See, so
I think they did.
So
I think they were successful.
I mean, first of all, hold on a second. I gotta say, one of my favorite cold openings ever.
Yeah.
That the first 30 seconds, I'm like, shit, am I watching the right show?
Yeah.
Well, see, when I first when I read the description of this movie, and it wasn't that one. They made it to be more comical.
Okay.
Then the description,
direction. Maybe there's a thing of the series.
On the description I read about it.
I read on the pilot.
And I went in going, oh crap, this is going to be a bad show. Because I don't really like comedies. But I watched this, and I'm like, ooh, I got to see the second episode, because there were parts of this movie this TV show that you could see it'd be good. Like, he told that guy to be honest and open your heart, and he stabbed himself. And by the way, I love that old lady's face. There's a potential for a great series.
I think it was just enough intrigue.
Yes.
And just enough exposition and to really want to keep you going. I mean, obviously pilots are made to drag in an audience, but
if they could do that on every episode, I think I'd be hooked.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, obviously it's gonna settle into sort of a groove, but I think they set up some good long arcs. I
liked the Irish guy.
Yes, the Irish vampire.
Yeah, I liked him. I thought that was a great addition into it. I'm wondering how they're going to go with the lore, because, I mean, even with his umbrella that didn't work, and he's like, I don't even know how to explain how he was in that crater.
Well,
I think it's going to be.
I imagine that's why he had brought the blood, was to somehow replenish him.
Yeah, and I mean that's why he ate the cow. But I'm kind of sitting there and I'm thinking what lore are they going with that they can recover anything? I feel
like I'm going to have a lot of fun picking out the rules of this thing, and it seems like the one that doesn't explain it very easily.
I think this is going to be
that they didn't explain it much at all.
I think this is going to be a very loose interpretation. I think it'll be closer to Blade than, say, Interview with a Vampire.
Well, okay. See, now here's you're definitely getting a sort of a comical vibe. Like I said, I thought it was a comedy.
But, I thought it was hilarious, especially the drunk preacher.
Here's what I thought was hilarious: that Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen were executive producers.
Yes.
Whoa, I didn't know that one.
I didn't know Seth Rogen.
I actually had to rewind it. I'm like, whoa, did I see what I thought I saw?
Yeah, I IMDb'd that shit right after.
I imagine that they were fans of the original graphic novel, and because people like that, they tell stories that they want to. He didn't have to make a TV show.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we're going to give it. You definitely have to check out the pilot if you can find it on a website near you. And we're going to go to break and let you know we do have a Facebook page. Do you love us, hate us? Do you think we suck? Make sure you creative.
Bring it on.
And I don't know, being creative. Besides, do you suck?
Nobody gives a shit if you're creative. You just say stuff.
Come on, do something better than, dude, you suck, bro. And we also have an audio podcast available on Podbean, Stitcher, and more. Make sure you give us a listen. And so we got some interesting movie news. Did anybody watch Kung Fu? Was it Kung Fu Fury?
Yeah, I definitely gave 25 minutes of my life to that movie.
The director teased a sequel.
I mean, well, I think he probably didn't imagine the amount of success that thing was going to have.
I haven't watched it. It is on my to-do list, though.
I am excited.
I watched it stone cold sober and thought I was on fucking acid.
Yes.
Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I actually thought somebody slipped something in my drink.
You've got, if you haven't watched it, you gotta. I absolutely loved it. It was great.
It's amazing. It really is something else.
And another interesting piece of movie news, and I don't know how you guys feel about this. I'm not too excited. Bryan Singer said there might possibly be a potential X-Men spinoff for Mystique.
Wait, who?
I mean,
Bryan
if you're going to
Singer.
spin off anybody, freaking Quicksilver.
No, I thought we just already discussed this. He's done. There's no more X-Men.
Yes, but this is not an X-Men. This is Mystique movie.
I don't give a shit.
So
Ryan thought it was pretty good.
Right? I don't know. So
I mean, look. I mean, all I see is the rabbit hole on this one, man. Like, okay, if we're starting at Mystique, if we're starting at any X-Men spinoffs aside from friggin' Wolverine,
so
I mean, how far does this go? You know how many X-Men there are?
Well,
it's insane.
They're now I didn't go for the full story of this one, but they're supposed to be starting in the works Cable. Did you hear about that?
See, Cable I'd be excited about because he's a little bit obscure, not completely obscure, but he's a different character than what everybody has seen. Mystique's been in every effing movie. She's been in every effing movie.
Yeah,
besides
and
one.
who was the first one that did it?
Rebecca Romaine Stamos.
Yeah, I didn't like that one. I mean, don't get me wrong.
She's just Rebecca Romaine.
Oh, that's right.
She's kind of cute, but whatever. That's really all that you had.
And so another piece of news that I'm kind of excited about: Jeff Bridges is gonna be in Kingsman: The Golden Circle.
That sounds like a porno.
Well, hey.
Yeah, it does.
But I'm actually excited about that.
That sounds like a really dirty porno, dude.
Don't get me wrong, I don't disagree, but I'm excited. I've always loved him as an actor, and it's another Kingsman movie.
Is this NC-17? Jesus,
I'm trying
Jeff,
really hard.
You are going downhill fast. Sorry, that's really what it made me think of, though. I mean,
is he going to take out his dentures for this one?
Picked a better name. Is this like, what is it, Austin Powers Gold member status here?
Oh, jeez. But what do you think, though? I mean, I'm excited.
I like
Besides
Jeff
the name.
Bridges, and I like but I mean, he's typecasted now, so I know what character he's going to be playing.
So, and another bit of movie news: Jesse Eisenberg is pretty much confirmed he's going to be the Lex Luthor in the next movie. So, what do you think? The Joker's making a comeback.
I don't think I'm going to waste my time on another Superman movie. Is it Superman Batman mix again?
My thought, this is probably going to be in the Justice League movie. That's the only way I could see him coming back. Because I'm not going to watch a Superman 2.
The problem with that universe, the universe that DC has created, is not on par with the universe that Marvel has done with the Days of Future Past cast. I mean, Marvel's like up here and DC's like kind of down here type thing. It's not evenly set.
I don't think
and I think part of this has to do with the cast, the way the director went with Lex Luthor.
I think the Superman with George Reeves was better. By the way, if you don't know,
TV show.
Yes, the old one, black and white.
Wait, shit.
I actually think I
like
Gene
Christopher Reeves.
Hackman did a better version of Luthor than this kid.
Well, hold on a second. Don't disparage the name of Gene Hackman. By even implying that his is bad. Also, Gene Hackman played a great Lex Luthor. You know why? Well, one,
He's a good actor.
Hackman. Two, because they actually wrote him as what he is a real estate tycoon.
Yeah. And I agree. And I'm not disparaging him. I'm just saying that the only other reference point we have for a decent Lex Luthor is Gene Hackman. Nobody's really done it any better than that except for the cartoons.
I mean, yeah, seriously. In my opinion, the gold standard is the cartoon from.
I'm gonna switch off because we're running out of time. So this is definitely gonna be a discussion for another episode.
Cutting us off.
So I got
another episode where we argue comic books.
So yeah. Hey, that's pretty much all they're making, So you got to pick your poison here. So did anybody watch the trailer for the Doctor Strange movie that was in front of this? The full length trailer.
I missed it.
I want, if you guys want to see it, I want you to check it out and tell me what you think about next week. And the other one is they're making another Tarzan movie. Now this one doesn't have Casper Van Dien, so it already has a plus. What do you think? Have you seen the trailer for it?
I have. I think it's worth giving a try. I think I pointed out that Eric Norseman was in this, right? Right.
Yeah.
I'd definitely be interested to see what his interpretation. I think I do recall you saying that, though.
Yeah, and I'm pretty certain it's the legend. Yeah, Alexander Skarsgård is playing Tarzan in this one, and that is Eric Norseman from True Blood. So
right. Now, see, these I kind of give sort of a general Hollywood pass because these were franchises from back in the day. I mean, these were already meant to have, 10 movies.
Does this mean they're going to bring back the Phantom? Or the Shadow?
I mean, if they do it better than the one with Billy Zane.
Honestly, it's not hard.
Yeah, no,
as long as it's not the Sci-Fi Channel, it would be difficult. And another one I didn't know they were remaking, and apparently this is going to go on with those dinosaur movies, is Ice Age Collision Course. Comes out on the 22nd of July.
Yeah, I knew they were pulling this out.
I respectfully submit, what's it called? Zootopia, if you're trying to check out a good.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the sausage movie or whatever the hell that one was.
Well, yeah, that's not one you want to take little James to.
Yeah, it is.
That's a good point. This is you.
Yes.
But check out Zootopia. That movie has rolled.
I mean, I have him watching Animaniacs a lot.
Yes, but
that's good for all ages.
So when he learns how to speak, he'll laugh his ass off.
He'll figure out why everybody's laughing.
And I'm talking about the big James, by the way. So I'm kind of excited, I guess, maybe possibly about some of the new movies coming out. The only one I wish would die and die hard and die fast is the new Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters.
You can't even say Ghostbusters.
No, I'm so pissed about them remaking this movie.
You can't say it.
I know we've talked about it a little bit. Have any of you guys seen the full trailer?
No, because I am not watching it.
You got to watch it because
No,
the reason why is because it's so bad.
Actually, wait, I think I've seen at least like almost all of it, and then I turned it off because it was so horrible.
No, I realized the original Ghostbusters was a comedy, but they tried. They're not trying in this movie at all.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys gotta watch.
I'm seriously done with this. I'm pretty certain I've seen the trailer that you have. It's got the male secretary.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen most of it, and I just stopped because it was no.
So next week we've decided we're gonna do Grab Bag. And
grab your bags.
And since my dumbass has jury duty this week, I'm deciding to do one of my favorite movies that came out of the 80s.
The Punisher.
And it's another one of the movies that highlighted this particular character, this actor. I'm picking Lethal Weapon.
All right.
The original Lethal Weapon.
That's kind of what the Lethal Weapon is.
Somebody could pick 2, 3, or 4. You never know.
There's different titles to it. This is Lethal Weapon.
2, 3, or 4. So I'm picking the original Lethal Weapon, in my opinion, the best Lethal Weapon movie.
Oh, come on. Number 4? Really?
Wasn't there a number 5 too?
No.
It was only number 4?
There was a number 4. Number 4 was the one with Jet Li where he removed the slide with his hands. And so what are we doing for the television episode next week?
So we're going to step out of the normal network boundaries that we've never really been constrained to. And we're going to go for, this is a PlayStation television show. It is called Powers, and we're going to be doing the pilot episode of that. It's under pilot for you really stupid people. But yeah, the TV show is called Powers.
And so, jeez, I gave X-Men Apocalypse a 4 to 5. James gave it a 4 to 5. Ryan gave it a 4 to 5. Another rare, we kind of agree.
Yeah.
Besides some minor sticking points, and we
go
hope
watch Preacher.
Go watch Preacher. It's hilarious, and as always,
but we don't have a podcast or iTunes or Stitcher.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.